Hi everyone, this is Brett Simon. So it's pretty late where I am. I'm in Houston, Texas. But today has been pretty significant for the DV2020 lawsuit because the final order by Judge Mehta has been released. And so I wanted to come on, do a live session. I don't really have time, frankly, I'm tired to take questions. Um, but I will explain my understanding of the order, what it means, what it doesn't mean, and just cover that. So I'm only focusing on that one topic. Excuse me, sort of reclining on my bed here. I'm in my hotel room, of course. As I say, it's pretty late at night. It's almost midnight here. So Alicia, so what does this mean, firstly, for DV 2021? For Alicia's question here, this is a point I wanted to address. Basically nothing, no impact on DV 2021. That's the first thing. This particular order is about the Gomez lawsuit, which is a DV 2020 order. Can you just confirm, guys, that you're hearing me okay? I'm hoping you can. Just let me know you're hearing me. So it's DV 2020. Thank you, Christopher. And thank you, Julie. Julie, crikey, welcome. It's lovely to see you. And obviously, yeah, you're interested in what's going to happen for your DV 2020 colleagues. Okay, so this is only about DV 2020. It's about the Gomez lawsuit. Judge Mehta's final order has been issued. Doesn't affect DV 2022, except for the processing aspect, which I'll address in a moment. Okay, so this is just very specific to DV 2020. So the order was published today. We knew this final order was coming. Judge Mehta has said what he was going to do. He was very clear that he was going to order the 9,095 visas to be issued. And he had gone previously to both parties, the plaintiffs' lawyers and the government lawyers, and asked them to come to an agreement about when those visas could be issued, how they could be issued, and that sort of thing. Regrettably, shall we say, the government lawyers didn't want to play ball. They didn't want to cooperate with the plaintiff lawyers. And so the plaintiff's lawyers, which is really the Ayla team, plus Curtis and plus Chuck and Jesse Bless and so on, all of those lawyers, I'm sure, must have been supremely frustrated at the lack of cooperation from the government lawyers, but there it is. Judge Mehta therefore had to make a decision about the timelines. He considered the government's position, which was that there should be a delay of these visas being issued until 2023. He considered the plaintiff's position that we wanted things issued faster than that, and he took a balance. He took a balanced position and said all 9,095 visas must be issued by September 30th, 2022. So within just under a year from now, right? When he first issued the order, excuse me, when he first issued the order, he was talking about 9,905 visas. That was a typo that crept into his earlier opinion, and for whatever reason, it appeared in this order as well. That has been corrected later in the day today, and so it is 9,095. There's no more debate about that, please. It's 9,095. It always was 9,095. There really was no debate, but some people chose to try and make some sort of assumption about that was just wrong. It's final. It's 9,095. The order says the visas. The order actually says that the court and Judge Mehta is not going to get involved in micromanaging the process of issuance. And so it says that the visas will be issued in random order. And we know from previous comments that basically means, that the government is going to get to choose how they prioritize, how they issue these visas. What will that really mean? Well, you should be aware that the case number is a randomly assigned order. Okay, if you've understood how the case number is assigned, why you get case number 100 and somebody else gets case number 1000 or whatever. If you understand that, you'll know that that was randomly assigned in the first place. So random order could mean by case number order. However, I don't think it's going to be that. And I don't know. This is just speculation. So let me just say that at the beginning. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to do the normal procedure, because all cases were current. All cases, therefore, the random order or the case number order is not really so important in that situation. So I think we're actually going to be talking about the date of documentarily qualification. So I think, just like we're seeing in DV 2022 and we saw in DV 2021 and we've seen for the last 20 something years, they're going to go in DQ order. Okay, that's my assumption. You can argue with me by all means. You can have a different opinion, but I think that's what is going to happen. So that's DQ order. When will the visas be issued? The government could, in theory, appeal this order. They could. The order is very strongly written. It's very clear that Judge Mehta believes he's got the authority to issue this, and so it would be unwise in one respect for the government to fight this DV 2020 case. However, a lot is on the line for this. There's going to be, obviously, there's the lawsuits in DV 2021. There's probably going to be lawsuits in DV 2022. And so if they don't fight this case, if they don't fight Gomez, then the government are accepting that the court has the authority to reserve visas past the end of the year and issue those visas and order the issuance of those visas past the end of the year. In the DV 2021 case, they have kind of out of the blue questioned the court's authority to even do that. And so at the moment, they must weigh that up. So they've got 30 days from today to weigh that up and say, do they want to appeal this case? And if they don't appeal this case, then frankly, they're giving in for DV 2021 and beyond as well, right? So there's a lot riding on this case in terms of whether they decide to appeal or not. I suspect we're going to see them delaying anything happening until the 30 days is up. Okay, just an assumption, just a guess, but I think that's going to be a possibility. Okay, let's talk about cases not already documentarily qualified. Will those cases have a chance? Right. The reality is, I don't know how many cases, and we don't know because the government's not been giving good information. We don't know the precise number of cases that are documentarily qualified in DV 2020. Now, I do think there's going to be a preference given to cases that are already at the embassies. So if you were at the embassy, you had an interview, you were put on AP, and that AP was subsequently resolved or is resolvable now, then I think you're going to be in a good position. If you were scheduled for an interview, but that interview is cancelled, then I think you're going to be in a good position. I think those cases, the ones on AP and the ones scheduled, I think they're probably going to get the first visas when visa issuance starts. Then they'll probably go to DQ cases, but we don't know how many cases will be left. And until they get to DQ, DQ, and they exhaust all the DQ numbers. So I don't know whether non-DQ cases are going to get a chance or not. We'll have to wait and see. There's no way I can predict that at the moment, and it really depends how many cases are given visas from that batch of cases that are already at the embassy. By the way, the third type of case that could have an advantage are cases denied at any time in DV 2020 not DV 2019, not 2018, not 2017, for the Muslim ban, just DV 2020. This order, I believe, reopens the possibilities for those cases to be issued. Um, and so we'll have to wait and see if that's really true. That's an assumption on my part. But as soon as we get an opportunity to start seeing cases issued, people who were denied because of the Muslim ban and already had their interviews should be contacting the embassies later. Not now. Please don't contact them now. You're going to get frustrated if you do. But later on, you'll be able to contact the embassy and ask them to reconsider your case because the Muslim ban is now removed, and effectively this order means that they can reconsider those cases. Okay, so again, those visas will take away from the eventual pot, for cases that are DQ'd. I don't know what's going to happen about cases which were issued prior to the closure of the processing and then not reissued in September. Expired visas that are expired. I don't know what's going to happen about that. Chuck Cook has said he's trying to get that clarified right now, so we may hear from Chuck Cook over the next few days about that. The reason he's clarifying it is that that was something that Chuck Cook and his colleagues had in the ACCA case, which is part of the Gomez case. But I haven't seen a specific part of the judgment that denies that part of the claim, and so it remains to be seen exactly what will happen about those cases. Okay, I don't know which way that's going to go. Will they divide the visas by region or by country? There is a formula where visas are divided into the regions. There is no division or no quota for countries, right? There is a cap for countries, the 7% cap, but that is not an allocation, okay? So forget the country allocations at all. There are no such things as country allocation. There are regional allocations, and we might see a division of the 9,095 split by region, so there's some fairness in terms of these additional visas. And they could either do it for the 9,095 on the regular ratio, the allocation into the different regions, or they could go back to the amount of visas issued and say, okay, Oceania region, for example, had more visas issued than than it would expect, and so they'll get less of the 9,095, for example. And I don't know what the numbers are. I haven't looked at the numbers, but they could take into account the full year in order to figure out the regional allocation. We'll have to wait and see. Right, talked about the expired visas, talked about the Muslim ban. Does this case help other cases, other years, DV 2019 and before? No, absolutely nothing to do with any other year. Nothing to do with DV 2021 either. Now, is there going to be an impact on DV 2022? Yeah, there is sort of. There's now 9,000 visas that need to be issued in the time period when DV 2022 is being processed. They've already lost a couple of months of processing in DV 2022, right? So now DV 2022 has low priority. It has only 10 months of processing at most, and there are an additional 10,000 visas, going to be issued, more than 10,000. If we look at the other visas from the DV 2021 cases, there's probably going to be an additional sort of 16, 17,000 visas issued. Now, that's not really a big deal. The government can scale up its operation to be able to do that, but knowing the government, they'll probably use that as an excuse to underissue in DV 2022. If they do, we'll sue them, right? Quite simply, Chuck Cook, Greg Siskind, Curtis Morrison, Raphael Lorenia, they're all standing by, more than happy, frankly, to sue the government once again for the same bullshit that that the government have been playing over the last couple of years, right? And they'll win again. They will, right? So either the government can sort their operation out and try and be doing this right, or they're going to get sued again. Now, many of you think that there is this sort of undercurrent saying no more lawsuits and all this sort of thing. I don't get that. Lawsuits clearly are working. We've got tens of thousands of visas issued because of lawsuits in DV2020 and 2021. Clearly, that would be helpful for DV2022 as well if we don't get these visas issued. And because we've got this prioritization scheme with DV lottery at tier 4, we're going to need that help, in my opinion. But nevertheless, nobody is forcing you to be on a lawsuit. That's your choice entirely. You can be, nobody is being forced to pay or anything like that. But if you want to protect your rights, your opportunity, etc., lawsuits are available to you, and you have to decide whether you want to be involved in that or not. Okay. Okay. What can you do about this now? What should you do next, right? Should you call KCC or the embassy tomorrow? Absolutely not. There's no point in doing that. If you call the embassy, they won't know anything about this at the moment. If you called KCC tomorrow, they would know about this, but they would have no instructions. So they're simply going to say, we don't know, we'll get back to you, or call us again in a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever. So you're going to have to be a bit more patient. Now, I know people are frustrated. I know people want everything to happen the next day, but that's not how life works. That's not how the DV lottery works. That's not what's going to happen here. There's going to be a delay while they go through the decision process, whether they want to appeal or not. If there is an appeal, then we could have many months of delay. But if there's no appeal, then we could see some activities starting to happen perhaps in November and December. Okay, that's roughly the timeline. So you need to be prepared to sort of be active at a later date, but don't do anything now. You may want to gather your documents together, and if it's free or easy to get your police certificate updated, perhaps you could do that if you feel that you've got a good chance. If you were at the embassy anyway, or if you know for a fact that you're documentarily qualified, you're a DV2020 case, and you know that you were documentarily qualified early on, then sure, get your police certificates updated if you want, get your other documents together. Do not have a medical interview yet. Medical appointment doesn't make sense. You will be given some notice of an interview, and the normal thing is that if you're given an interview, they've allocated the visas to your case. So it's not like you have to worry about there won't be enough visas. If they give you an interview, there will be enough. There will be the visas for you, right? So what happens is they pre-allocate the visas to the cases they're interviewing. If any of those cases are refused, then those visas are returned to the pool and allocated again. So they'll keep on doing that until they get to the 9,095. Okay, so that's how it will work, and they won't schedule interviews more than the 9,095. We'll have to wait and see how they do that exactly, but they won't over schedule interviews. They won't suddenly cut things off. I don't think they'll do that at all. Okay, so that's probably most of what I wanted to cover. I'm sure there's some questions there, but it really it's past midnight now here, and I'm tired. Frankly, I've had a very busy work trip for the last few days, so I wanted to get this video out, but I really can't sort of take many questions. Okay. All right, let me just very quickly scan, see if there's something that's reminding me that I've forgotten to talk about something. Somebody's pointing out that Zarthisius has 7,809 cases shown as ready. That's true. I do want to address that. That does not mean that those 7,809 cases are going to get the going to get the visas. The reason for that is that in every year, including DV2020 and 2021 and that sort of thing, there are also always cases which show as ready, where the interview has been scheduled at the embassy and the applicant never turns up at the embassy. And so in every year, that's thousands, literally thousands of cases. So out of the 7,809 cases, and I agree with you, this is a really good data point. Um, all of those cases are documentarily qualified and they've been sent to the embassy. So that's a good data point. But I do not expect all of those cases to take their opportunity to actually show up for the visa interview. And so, I'm personally not worried about that in terms of that will be the complete number. Don't do the simple math of saying, oh, that's already 7,800 cases. It's not going to work like that. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question. That was a good one to cover. This video has nothing to do with DV 2021 or DV 2022 or DV anything else, right? This is only about DV 2020. Okay, good. I think I've covered most of the questions. Your sponsor gave you, in Sapphire, your sponsor gave you an I-134 1.5 years ago. Do you need to renew it? You should renew it, and you should certainly renew the documentation that comes with it or that's provided with it, which is like the pay slips, the tax, 1040, the W2, etc. Yeah, bring all of those things up to date. Okay. Iranian winner of DV 2020 got rejected for the Trump ban in the US Embassy in London. We have a daughter now. How can we proceed? What's the best way to reactivate your case? Okay, I already covered this, Mona. I do believe that cases in DV 2020 refused because of the Muslim ban can get a chance to reactivate their case, yes. You will have some complication because you've had a baby. I don't know for a fact that you'll be able to add that baby to the case, but you'll work with the embassy later on. Don't contact them now. Don't contact London Embassy yet. Wait until we've got a bit more clarification about when visas are actually going to be started to be issued, and then you'll contact the London Embassy and say you'd like to have your case reopened because of this lawsuit and also the earlier decision, the proclamation that removed the Muslim ban. Okay. All right. I think that probably covers it. Thanks for your time this evening. Just wanted to put this video out there. I'm not going to go any further. Thank you for being with me and listening to this. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.